as well to just make sure he doesn't run into the fair again.
Ready for the gem pop with the parry, and he gets the kill!
The way Bosho's movement is fucking insane.
That was a out there by Porcupine to avoid the nair, but he does die there. The spacing and timing by Vincent makes it so that Pork can't drift out of that one.
Oh my god!
Last stock! Oh.
What's that last clip, you ask? Haven't you heard about the ACS Finals? It was the last event of the season in the Asian scene. But before we talk about it, today we will continue our tour of the international Rivals of Aether scenes to tell you the unique story each one has developed and discover the hidden bosses that dominate the region. My name is Fava from Stats of Aether, and we present Rivals out of region, Asia. When it comes to the international scene, by far the youngest one is the Rivals of Aether scene in Asia, which only came to life as recently as the beginning of 2021. It all began with the efforts of a well-known North American community figure, specifically known because of his amazing edits and videos. That's right, we're talking about Casual Scrub. Legend tells that it all began because he had some extra champion skin codes and he wanted to give them away to a lesser known region in the scene, in order to motivate the players. After speaking with the representative of the South American scene, a region he already knew, they told him that they were already getting skins as death support, so he figured that maybe the Asian scene could give the skins a better use. However, after some looking around, he realized that there weren't any big or active communities in Asia, aside from a few Discord servers from Japan, Korea, and India. With almost no activity each, it was at that time and moment that he decided someone had to do something about it. So he looked for players interested in the idea and could speak the most common language of the region. He knew the Indian admin Volt, whom he had been speaking about the idea, and also a very enthusiastic Nicaraguan player that resided in Hong Kong known as Moripops. After the planning part of the project, they also got help from Bait, who at the time resided in Spain but proved helpful as he speaks Chinese. The task wasn't easy, as the region had to face issues due to the sheer size of Asia, such as long distance between the players and the diversity of language in the continent. This meant the lag between players and the language barrier would be a common problem. However, they managed to overcome these issues in the end. To solve the language barrier issue, they made any common ground text channel an English-speaking channel, as many of the players also handled the language, whilst at the same time providing the country-specific text channel where they could speak their native language. This second measure would also help with the distance issue, as it would facilitate any matchmaking effort. That's how Asiacord, the server we know and love, come to life. This server would become the main hub for any Asian player, with the small exception of the Japanese region, as they have their own server apart from the Asiacord, where they host their own brackets on a semi-consistent basis. Nevertheless, they sometimes allow non-Japanese players to participate in their brackets if they have good enough ping. Since the very beginning of the Asia scene as a whole, there has always been a player who is a league above the others. From the very first tournament that Casual Scrub organized with the newfound help of the Asian admin. The very first player to claim this legendary status is KNN217. There are rumors that before joining the community, he already had over 1,000 hours played only against CPU as his only method of training. He hadn't played online or entered a bracket. The Vietnamese player would take the first place in brackets while defeating his opponents with the most uncommon main, Random. This would continue on a month-long streak, getting to 9 consecutive tournament wins. However, before the streak could reach the double digits, he would be stopped by a new challenger in the scene, in the form of an old name who dual-main Raster and Crag. This player was Bait, who after ranking 10th in that year's EU RCS, would return to his home country of China after residing in Spain for some time. The arrival of Bait to Asia and to the scene's podium would mark the start of a new era, where as his predecessor, he would proceed to dominate the Asian tournament, but in an even more dominant way, as Kenan slowly stopped competing and playing even less day by day. The rest of the players had a long way to go still to be able to reduce significantly the distance their skill had when compared to Bait's. Jumping to 2022, it's possible to see a lot of activity in the form of community-wide events, especially April, as they had 2 special events. The first one was an April Fool's event, where the Asian Rivals of Aether server and the Asian Dems Fighting Herd server changed their focus for a day. ROA Asia became a TFH server and celebrated with a bracket and giveaway of the game. This was possible thanks to Bait, as he is part and beloved by both communities. Later that same month, a New Zealand player organized a special type of crew battle for anyone to challenge. It was called the Philippine Gauntlet. The main idea behind this was to gather 5 of the best Filipino players for the contestants to face back-to-back on a best-of-1 format. Several people tried, but even the best players at the time like KNN and Bait could only get to the second member. However, an out-of-region player named Lucio was able to try and conquer the challenge successfully. Before the midpoint of the year, tournaments were getting kind of stale as top placements were already decided every time, and this discouraged low and mid-level players. To solve this, the Asiacord admin would introduce a never-seen-before concept in the region, ASRAS. This is a series of amateur tournaments where top players aren't allowed. This was very well received and started a newfound passion for competing in the community, sometimes getting more hype and entrance than the established monthlies. After some entries in the series, they decided to host the ASRAS Invitational, where past winners would compete in a separate bracket. Acidas came out on top of the ASRAS Invitational over the other 7 players who invited that included TNR, Waffler, Damag, Roya, Perturbo, Zosu, Savella, and Rice. In June, AFGC, or known as DuskFGC, organized and hosted an event called Pacific Gladiators, where they hosted a bracket for the Oceania region and another one for the Asia region. The community was really excited for Pacific Gladiators Asia, as it seems it would be the biggest bracket for the region yet. Maripops would even add $1 to the prize pot for each attendee the bracket had. The event would achieve 49 entrants and would become the first RCS Silver outside of NA. Bait would take the first place in this bracket after beating Akawa in winners finals and again in grand finals. Getting to the latter half of the year, the Asia community wasn't done with the big events, as after a very fearsome battle to the ROA Twitter bracket organized by Rivals Latam, they would reach the grand finals alongside Mexico, gentlemen, to a for-fun crew battle between the region. This crew battle inspired a lot of emotions between players. They wanted to measure their skills and demonstrate their power, while at the same time it was worrying thinking about the possible lag issues. In the end, the crew battle reached their last players for both teams, where in great fashion, Lucio took the win for Mexico over Asia's own Bait. In a set where Bait was surprised that the connection was better than some of the matchup he had inside Asia. After all the fun had in this crew battle, TOs from the scene started talking with some OCE TOs to organize another one a few weeks later. As they interact a lot with each other, the two almost sibling regions would face in late September. With everyone excited for the challenge, Asia saw a start that left much to be desired, as they went down 5 stocks almost immediately. What the Australian-New Zealand scene wasn't aware of was that their last 3 players would fight fearlessly to take the remaining 14 stocks, turning things around for an Asia win at the end of the day. Before September ended, after 13 months on the scene, Bait had to move back to Spain, something very unfortunate for the Asia scene that had grown to love him. And this time, he hadn't made a placing that wasn't first in bracket, although he did lose some sets because of some miraculous upset or because he played any of his secondary. His winning streak would be interrupted on his second to last Asia RCS event before leaving, as Vincent would prevent him from achieving first place. Nevertheless, he was able to reclaim his throne right before leaving. That brings us to the current state of competitive rivals in Asia. Right now, there is a 3-way race for the number 1 rank due to the vacuum Bait left and the rising skills of other top players. The 3 most active countries in Asia are Japan, Indonesia, and the Philippines. Coincidentally, each one of these countries has a top player to represent them in this race, where they are currently clawing for the top spot on the food chain, with each of them being able to take the win on at least one Asian major since KNN and Bait left. The first of these players is Aikawa. The Japanese Clarion and Crag duelmate joined the scene around early 2021. Initially just as a casual player, he would start trying to compete in weeklies to start a competitive journey that to this day is still ongoing. At some point, even called an apex predator of the scene, today he is known for his excellent movement and edge guards. Next we have Vincent Van Doe. an Indonesian Eliana made which has seen a great improvement in his skill level since his debut, especially with a character such as Eliana that allows the player to use her moveset very creatively. Known for his crazy setups and combos with mines and missiles, his opponent have a hard time trying to get a hit as his playstyle is very evasive for an Eliana. Last but not least, Porcupine21 from the Philippines. This Zetter main has been around since mid-2021. That would seem as enough time to hone his skills to rival anyone in the community at the moment, pushing further his strong punish game. Besides being a top player, he's also one of the many dedicated admins the server has had. He has stated in the past one of his main goals is to keep improving in order to help the community grow both in size and skill. The Asian community has always liked to keep things fresh, as they're known for hosting a lot of variety or for fun brackets, and crazy activities like workshop, special rule sets, and theme brackets. This is possible mainly to the admin's dedication and the community's strong friendship between each other. The year is 2023. Let's see what they've been up to. In January, they already hosted 2 brackets. The first of them was Yeti's Birthday Bash, an offline event hosted in the Philippines. With the help of the local Melee community, they had 16-person rival bracket. This is their largest local yet, as it wasn't their first one. In the past, some small meetings have been done where even known NA players like Anti and Elkies have taken part of. The second event was the ACS finale, a total display of skill, so make sure to check it out. This bracket features players like Vincent, Pork, Daylight, and Jim in the top 4. It does not repeat characters in the top 8. This is a perfect testimony on the state of the competitive Asia scene. With the finale done, the community is waiting the release of their power ranking. In late February, the Japanese community hosted their monthly offline bracket, Battle Gateway. This series of tournaments usually achieves a similar entrant count to Yeti's Birthday Bash, and in a similar way, it shares a lot of the players with their local Melee scene, as it's hosted by VGBC's own Watch. March and April have been pretty standard months in the ever-growing scenes of Asia, full of life and activity, lots of brackets to participate in and other pastimes. This is where the community stands today. It has undeniably come a long way, and we know for sure it still has a long way to go. Hi, welcome to the end of the video. I'm Fava, the voiceover for this video. I have played Rivals since 2021, around the same time as the Asian scene started. It is a very special place for me, and I'm grateful for every member in the scene, from the players, the TOs, and stream organizers. While I can only attend and compete here and there, I contribute to the scene by organizing the earlier major streams, archiving them to YouTube, and of course by just playing the game. I believe the Asia scene is a very welcoming and friendly place that's ready to welcome players who haven't played a platform fighter. The scene is very competitive and filled with energy. Look forward to when Asia competes in the international space in the future. Once more, my name is Fava at Stats of Aether, and I encourage you to play more Rivals of Aether and spread the word about our beautiful game and community. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified when the next video is out. Check out one of our other videos while you're at it. It really helps the channel and everyone who works on it.